Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Thursday, November 5th, 2019. My name is Rich, and joining me once again this week is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, man. I am living life. Winter's finally coming. Actually, it's not even winter. It's fall. I'm a hot mess. It might as well be winter, though. It is cold as heck.
You don't even have a winter there. I don't know what you're talking about. We're getting a foot of snow here in a couple of days. We have a winter storm warning, and it's November, so you don't even get to talk to me about winter or fall.
I don't know what that's like, but it's 60-something degrees here. Freezing.
But forget all that, because we have one of our idols. One of our ninja idols has joined us this week. 11-year veteran of ANW who's made it all the way to stage 3 in Vegas once again this year, Ryan Stratis. How you doing, Ryan?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
What up, man?
Chilling, dude. Just excited to be a part of y'all's podcast. Finally, I've been listening for a couple of years now, so excited to chat with you guys.
Well, I mean, this might be a shocker to you, but we've been watching you for just a few years now, also. Just a little bit.
Just a couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, I was going to mention to Ryan before we started the podcast, but I was like 2 feet away from you when you're in Philly in season 8, and you were icing your shoulder after your run, and I was like, I'm not going to bother you then. I wish I had now.
Okay, yeah, that was a rough year for me. Comeback season, yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah, man, it looked like a rough season.
Yeah, you were not looking. You did great on the course, but you looked like you paid for it afterwards.
Yeah, that's half the sport, sadly. You got to hold it together while you can and then pay for it after.
Oh, speaking of, I should mention quickly before we get into it, we're going to be covering UNX now, but today is actually the 1-year anniversary of me taking a nasty fall off a rock climbing wall.
Oh, is that what you broke your leg, ankle?
Leg, knee. I actually am going into the doctor next week to get all the details because I honestly didn't even note all the soft tissue damage. I just know I broke, bone out the leg was enough for me. I didn't really need all the details.
Yeah, man. That's happy 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's treating you better.
I'm mobile. It was a rough winter last year. This year I get to shovel, so it's going to be a lot better.
Nice.
But okay, yeah, let's get into it. Here we got 100 questions for you, Ryan. We'll try to narrow it down a little bit. And before we get into the UNX majors that happened in Chicago at Ultimate Ninjas this past weekend. So I got right off the bat, I already mentioned stage 3. How did it feel to get back to stage 3 again after all this time?
That was one of my main goals this season. I was working really hard to try to get past where I was before, way back in season 3. That was always like the specter of my past, what I wanted to try to get beyond. And this year it all finally came together. I got to stage 3, but then fell before the ultimate goal and was getting, all the way to stage 4 as always. But been making a lot of progress, ever since season 9 was probably my roughest year, and 10 and 11 have been building upon my past successes, and just looking forward to season 12 coming up in a couple of months.
Yeah, it was looking great, man. So, just looking at the stage, right before you ran it, how were you feeling? Did you feel confident about all the obstacles, or was there something really scaring you?
I think my mental game kind of slipped going into that stage. You get so much of adrenaline from, especially for me, beating stage 2 for the first time in 8 seasons. I kind of had that adrenaline dump where you just kind of relax and you lose that killer's edge. And I shouldn't have turned that off. I should have just stayed present instead of going back into the tent and relaxing, during the lunch break and all that stuff. You lose a lot of momentum. And that's what really got me. So I got on there and thought I could make some shortcuts when that didn't quite pan out on the Northern Passage. So that's all she wrote.
I was going to say I think it was the Iron Summit there, right? They mixed up a couple of, they combined them, in this weird way. Really great obstacle when you're looking at it as a viewer. As a ninja, you're looking at it, are you going oh no, what did they put on the course this time? You're excited to try it, or were you nervous?
Anything that has moving parts like that, it's the technical side of things can be tricky and unexpected results can happen, which was what happened with me. So stage 3 is traditional. I'm looking at it more like the Japan style, where it's going to be, more, you're going to pump out if anything's going to happen. You're not going to have like a technical slip up, which was my case. It just popped right out. So, yeah, a little frustrating on that side of things, but that's the show for you. You got to be ready for all angles.
Yeah, I know that pain. I feel that pain. But man, just going behind the scenes just a little bit, from personal experience, there's a lot of downtime between runs. And like, how do you deal with that mental edge of, your run is coming up, but yet you want to stay calm and focused? Like, were you standing there watching every single run, planning it out? Or were you just like on the side, not even looking at what's going on and just trying to like mentally prepare yourself?
At that point, you've got it figured out in your head of your plan of attack. It might pay dividends to watch one or two competitors that are similar build, similar skill set to you. At least that's my approach. For example, in stage 1, I had intended on doing the Jeep run similar to the way Naj and Drew had tried it, where they just jumped immediately, but they had just misplaced their landing. And so once I saw them go down in the fashion that I was planning on doing it, I decided to take a safer approach. So getting beta from other competitors does help at times, but the later stages on stage 3, it's going to be, it's going to be mostly up to your own mental game and how much of a steel trap you can make it and stay in the zone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at that point, you know what to do. You just got to do it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you've been around for the evolution of Ninja Warrior. This season, the big changes were the Power Tower, and the Mega Wall was here before, but they've changed the rules around it. Like, what did you think of the changes they put in place this year?
I like the 3 tries on the Mega Wall. That was a nice gimme of them to let more people try to get up there. The one and done is kind of brutal. And the Power Tower is a nice aspect they added to give a little more incentive for people to go fast. They always had fast people on the show anyway. But just adding those new dynamics, I think, is an interesting way to progress the sport.
Did you like it? I mean, I imagine you watched the show in addition to competing on it. Like, as a competitor and a viewer, both, would you say were good changes?
I'd say so. I think a majority of what I've saw from heard from viewers and their responses on the show, they liked it. It seemed like it was a little more exciting this time around. The speed of which the courses were designed this year, it seemed to be focused more on getting people through faster. What wasn't some of the arduous upper body gauntlets that they have done in the couple last seasons. This one seemed to be more focused on the agility type obstacles.
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, it's going back to the original seasons of ANW. If you think back to what was it, the boot camp seasons and all that kind of stuff? Like,
good
it's
days.
Crazy. Oh man, all that stuff.
I know.
Like, which type do you prefer? Do you prefer more of the arduous, slower pace, but like really pump out type of stuff, or more of this agility based, faster pace Ninja Warrior?
I like a good balance, making sure it's a variety of skills. Like if it's weighted too heavy one way or the other, I feel like it's just not that fun to watch or even to participate in. You're always on edge if it's going to be like constant balance from one after the other, or you got to slow down and readjust, or barely getting through things by the skin of your teeth. And then if it's too pump heavy, it's going to be a grueling endeavor. So if I can find something that's just equally balanced, and that's a good variety of things, both for viewer and competitor standpoint.
Mm-hmm. And just thinking about it right off the bat, like Sasuke, like we're getting a whole lot of stuff like Sasuke in terms of the agility and all this kind of stuff. Like, are you still super into I feel like I already know the answer, but I have to imagine you're still super into Sasuke and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I still love catching the sometimes I can catch the live airings when they have them in Japan.
You're brave, man.
I try to, just like early mornings whenever they show it, but
yeah,
those are always fun to watch and catch up on how everything's going over there. Not into the old forums as much as I used to be, like the Sasukepedia or Sasuke Maniacs forums. I used to be on there a lot, but that's taking it way back. I haven't gotten on those forums in a long time.
I think Reddit's become like the new Sasuke-pedias. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the OGs are still there and all, but I feel like they're more into Reddit now. Do you ever like plan on going back to it? I know like Drew is still like super going on the seasons. I think Jesse Graff was on 2 seasons ago. Like, do you ever plan on going back and competing?
I'd love to. I think I just need to prove my worth more in order to get selected to go over there, because it's all determined on, their choice of the athlete that they want to have over. So we don't really have a say in the matter.
Yeah.
Drew's been kicking butt over there every time he's gone over, and he's done well on the show for numerous seasons, and beating it this year, that's pretty much solidifies his spot in getting invited back, I would imagine. So kudos to the real life ninja.
For real, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, man. You do like the tribute to Sasuke, like
yeah. I mean,
and like all this stuff.
I'd love to get back over there, man. Another get a real back, get some more like back slap action when we're over there would be really cool. That's still one of my goals. I'd say when I do beat the show, I want to take my close ninja friends and be like me, Bernardo, and Brett Sims. We'd go to Japan and catch up with the Sasuke athletes, because those are the guys that got me into the show originally. So I'd love to pay homage further to them by qualifying, beating the show, and then going over there and having a good time in Land of the Rising Sun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
We'd all love to see that.
It's happening. It's going to happen.
It is. Season 12 of the year.
Not stopping.
So beyond that, I see that you're going to visit the Wolfpack here soon. You're going to be in San Antonio on November 16th at Ninja Playground. What's going on there?
They have a new partnership with the Kaboom Playground company. They design playgrounds that are completely like free and open to the public. And we're doing kind of a partnership with them now, where when they have these grand opening for these public parks, they'll invite some of the Wolfpack members out, and we'll do like meet and greets and hanging out with all the people there during the ribbon cutting ceremony. And these parks are open to the public, and they've got like little ninja elements built into it, and it's just anybody can walk in and give it a try. So it's a really cool thing they're doing for the community.
That is awesome.
Let me get this right. A free like public park implementing ninja obstacles and things like that.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah. That's because Bijan can't find even a paid one near him right now. So,
I really can't. But
Kaboom.
Wow.
Yeah, check out their they're on Instagram. I'm pretty sure it's just Kaboom. At Kaboom. Kind of looks like an old Nickelodeon orange backdrop with a white font, and they're just a national nonprofit that tries to make sure a lot of areas have access to those kind of play facilities.
It never really occurred to me before how well that actually lines up, because we know that a lot of ninjas who don't have, ninja gyms nearby use the playgrounds for their training.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was the only way to get like decent ninja footage, is like grown adults on kids' playgrounds way back in the day, and get a lot of weird looks. So it's cool to see the transformation of public parks now into more ninja style.
I mean, we see so many of the kids into it now. It makes sense to like harness that, take advantage of it, right? If the monkey bars are there already, like get some floating monkey bars and you're all set.
Yeah.
So what else are you up to? I know you've been doing some Twitch streaming. Like, what's going on in your life outside of, including Ninja, but just outside of things we've already talked about?
Yeah, the Twitch streaming is something new that I've been trying to do. I've been a gamer my whole life. I'm not too sure if everybody knows how much of a nerd I actually am behind the screen after they see me on TV screaming and yelling my head off. Do enjoy the gaming, and the video game streaming is something that's blown up over the years. And I feel like that's a fun way to interact not only with the fan base, but a good way for me to just, try to make a living outside of Ninja, where I'm not destroying my body 100% of the time. So I've kind of stepped away from coaching full time, is what I moved out here to Colorado for, but taking a step back from that and just trying out a couple of different career paths that I've got my eyes set on now. So,
what's your Twitch handle?
The Stratis Status.
Of course.
Yeah. So you can
That's awesome.
find me there. Not too many Stratuses out there on the old Twitch platform, but Yeah, he'll follow me a game from time to time, trying to make it more regular.
Are you playing like one game or like a variety of different games?
I'm still trying to find my niche. There's a lot of variety out there, and I do like to change things up a lot. Whatever's popular at the time, I might give it a few games, but there's nothing that I'm particularly known for at this instance. So just more of a variety streamer, I guess, for the time being.
You're not doing ANW challenge like constantly?
No. No, I tried that one a little bit, and
that was rough.
Man, you just brought up bad memories. Oh man,
we all had flashbacks. Yeah.
So Ryan, what's your favorite game of all time? I gotta ask as a fellow gamer.
It depends on the genre. RPG wise, the Mass Effect series was really good.
Yeah.
I grew up playing like the Super Nintendo, like Final Fantasy games. Oh man, Shadow of the Colossus was really good on PlayStation 2. It was just like a artistic style adventure game. Like that blew my mind as a teenager. Man, I don't know, man. There's so many good ones. Red Dead Redemption was a good adventure game. I'm getting ready to do some playthroughs of the second one now that it came out on PC. There's too many to list.
So that would be the one. If somebody's gonna tune in now, they're likely to see you playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. I just got it all loaded up. Just came out today, actually.
And this is what happens when you get nerds talking about computer games. We really completely went off topic.
Let me think. What else has I been up to? Really, Colorado is an amazing state. I love it out here. Lived out in Georgia my whole life till I was 35, and then moved out here. And I think my first experience was when I was still in the Army, way back in the day, 2008. And I was out here for some training down in Colorado Springs, and fell in love with the place, and just so happened to, get that opportunity to move out here, and just love getting out in the woods and hiking. And that's probably another potential career I'm looking at, park services or park ranger or something along those lines. Just being outdoors and enjoying the scenery, fresh air. It's really nice.
I mean, I don't mean to judge or whatever, but like just looking at you, man, you just for me, I'm just like, oh yeah, Ryan Stratis, the dude that lives in Colorado, probably has a hatchet, like out in the woods and stuff. Like,
it's fun getting out in the mountains, man. Just hiking and just hitting the trail. I usually do a bunch of solo hikes, and I don't do much climbing out on the mountainside, but I'll get out and hike and get up in some pretty sketchy spots from time to time. But I enjoy it.
It's nice.
All right, so let's give Ryan a break here for a second with the questions, and let's take a look a little bit at the UNX now, or UNX, I should say, and on the website UNX now. We had the Chicago majors at Ultimate Ninjas, and I gotta confess, so I thought we were going to be covering like some of the runs and everything else, because I thought that's what the Fast Forwards were. Totally misinterpreted what Ethan Swanson and Jeff Pijak were telling us. This was interesting, I guess. Bijan, so I'm going to toss it over to you for a second here. So I get you to check out the Fast Forward. Was it anything like what you were expecting?
Nah, man. There were really long videos for the Fast Forward. I'm trying to remember. There was one video where they're talking for a long period of time. They're basically doing our podcast, but like covering just the whole majors thing, and that's fine. But I mean, I need some visual elements to mix it in, But also there was this another part where they're kind of going over some of the obstacles, like explaining it. That was dope and everything, but I think it could fit. You could probably do that within like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. This Chris DeGangi and Ethan Swanson are, standing in front of the camera like Sports Center type deal, and kind of previewing the upcoming competition, and running down how it was going to flow and making their predictions. I felt it was kind of similar to the podcast. So, I mean, like, good on you guys. And they did have little clips. So when they mentioned like a competitor, they might have a little like window in window of, that competitor running, or they might cut to a full screen at times. And I got to say, production values are still amazing. Still really impressed.
That intro though, man. Like, their intro is amazing. It's crazy. Now, for this fast forward, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it felt more like it was more made probably for audio. Like, this is something that I feel like I would be listening to on a commute to work.
Yeah, potentially. I could see that happening. I don't know. Maybe they do stream it out as a podcast as well. Maybe not. Brian, I guess what was your take on it when you checked out the fast forward segments? Did you... I guess I kind of tossed you into this. You weren't quite sure what to expect, but you went ahead. I guess Ryan went and bought the membership, so he's actually seen the course.
Damn, Ryan, you going all out?
Hey, man, I gotta support. I really support this league. I went to the first qualifier and had pretty high. I got pretty high expectations when it comes to competitions, and I don't really sing praise too often about different ones, but this one was I was really impressed with the organization of things, and all the video on demand stuff that they're producing is a cool way to keep people in the know about what's happening with the league. So I know Ethan and Chris both work pretty much day in and day out on this stuff. That's what they're trying to do, is keep people abreast of what the situation is throughout the entire league, the entire season. So it's pretty cool how they try to keep everybody aware of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I'll definitely say is they really seem comfortable. I mean, this was one of their first broadcasts together, and they already seem very comfortable in front of the camera, which is not easy to do. It's very difficult often to just have like one camera and you're just speaking to it. But they seem, flowing well. They bounce off of one another very well. There's none of that like rigidness or like nervousness coming. And obviously they have experience in front of the camera, but this is a little different of a type of interview format, and they seem to do perfectly fine with it.
I'd say the years of ANW and NPC has trained us all well in regards to camera work.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
And you can really see it does show. I found like they're both really, really good at it. They were so good at it that Bijan actually, I believe, used Deganji's name there for once.
Who? What? No, never.
I'm pretty sure you did. I think you slipped up. I do have one beef. I do have one beef, and I gotta air it here. I found it a little annoying how they use both channels for the audio. So you have Ethan in one of your ears and Chris in the other, and it's kind of going back and forth.
Oh, they did that? I did not catch that.
So like left and right head, like if you had earphones on.
Yeah.
Oh, they need to fix that, man.
All right. Yeah, that's good feedback. I know Ethan's always open to stuff. So anything that you guys see or hear as professionals like yourselves, shoot it his way. They're always looking to improve.
Yeah, professional would have actually just shot him an email or something and let him know instead of like airing it publicly. I'll call him out.
Good job, Rich.
Savage.
I feel like the amount of praise we've thrown its way, it's a little warranted, right? Like, I just want to be clear. We're keeping it real here. We're being honest with our feedback. It is good overall, and I will be buying a membership, and I'm pretty sure Bijan will too.
Yeah.
The only reason we haven't at this point was we wanted to try to keep it where you listeners can just see the same things we are, right? We don't want to cover things that is behind a paywall for you, basically.
A lot of stuff that is free content that they'll post online. Like a lot of the fast forwards are going to be on their Facebook pages and things like that. I know they aired the major or the first majors was aired live off of their Facebook page. That was all free, but now it's like if you want to watch it after the fact, either one of the runners will get a copy of the run and they'll post it on their social media, or you can go on the website and watch everything they've got posted on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. And I think I saw on the website that they're gonna re-air it at least once. They're gonna stream it again, if I've read that correctly. So you may have another chance to check it out. Make sure you sign up for UNX now and check it out for to get more information on that. But I want to kind of talk about the format. How they're running it and the prize money and everything here. Just some of the details that they gave us. They had 14 men and 14 women run in the semis, each doing one run. And 4 people will get eliminated from both sides from that, narrowing it down to 10 men and 10 women going into the round 1 finals. They all do a run, and that narrows it down to 5. So they cut half at that point down to 5 men and 5 women. And they run again, but what was interesting is that run isn't necessarily the one that determines their placement. It is their best run of the two. So I kind of like that. I like that there's a little bit of variation in there, that you had like an amazing round one, but maybe, a little bit slower on the round two, that it's not going to cost you, that it can still help you out.
That's really good, because most people, what they would probably do is just, if they knew it would be, they would just sacrifice one of their runs just to try to feel out the stuff, So they want to put their best effort on each one. Exactly.
Yep. I thought that was great. I was really shocked at the prize amount of $18,000 in prize money.
Yeah, no, it's finally getting to the point now where, professional ninja competitor is an actual thing now, where you can be somebody outside of the show. You don't necessarily need to be on the show in order to, make a decent living off of winning competitions like this. Not even to mention the fact that they paid for your travel and lodging to these major events, which is, a huge benefit to performing well in the qualifiers.
I didn't know that, but that's really, really big, is that they pay for travel and lodging. Because for a lot, that usually is the big factor. It's like, I want to go to this huge competition, but is it really, beneficial if I have work and the expenses and everything else involved? So that's really cool. That really adds a lot to the whole competition itself.
Yeah, for sure. It's and like once you've qualified, if you got first, second, or third at a majors, then that bumps you automatically into the next majors. So you don't have to worry about requalifying. So you can just daisy chain yourself all the way into the grand championship if you're good enough. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's very cool to take all that out of it. As the sport's growing, I think we'll see more and more ways of monetizing come up. Like, I just see it on like the path of UFC, right? Soon we'll see ninjas coming out onto the course with like big robes on, with Monster Energy drink sponsors and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, sponsorships are the true path to, like, money in terms of everything like that. But also, of course, you have to be careful with that. You need to. This is a family sport, so
yeah.
I don't necessarily think you're going to be seeing cigarettes or blah 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 being sponsored.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I know ANW's done a great job of sterilizing people with all their gear from being any kind of specific sponsor unless they've approved it, and there's reason for that. So they gotta go pay the advertisers.
Yeah.
Dude, how like painful is it trying to get the right like clothing to be on ANW approved? Man.
For me, not bad. All I'd wear is just the same old tank top and usually a pair of Walmart swim trunks.
You got lucky. All my clothes are Nike or Under Armour.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying this to Rich, like, will this work? Will this work? He's like, dude, none of those are going to go.
Like,
sure
sending me all these pictures. Yeah, it was interesting.
Finding the logoless stuff was challenging at first, but once you figure it out, it's not so bad. A lot of goodwill trips.
Yeah.
One thing that they did mention as well was that all of the runs are in isolation. So it's not that way in the open qualifiers, but in the majors, no one gets to see anyone else run. You have to figure it out on your own and do your own beta, basically.
Huh.
Yep. Yeah, they had them all kind of back in the back, and then had to turn their phones in, so no phone contact. And that's a cool way to do it. I know that's something they probably picked up from. I know rock climbing has been doing that for a long time, and you do see the shortcuts that people take, and you're like, oh, I never thought about doing it that way, and it's a benefit to go later sometimes. So being in isolation, it's a cool way that makes every athlete have a unique approach sometimes.
Yeah, it evens the field. Now, you guys probably know more than I do. Is there still an audience, though, like in terms of like, people that aren't competing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had bleachers set up. They had people hanging out. There's a live audience. You can feel the energy of people cheering people on. So at the majors, it was really cool. They had the stands packed with people.
Awesome. I mean, as everyone listening can probably tell, I'm planning on watching this majors event this upcoming weekend. So I apologize. I'm the newbie that's like, huh, what happened? But yeah, it sounds really cool.
Yeah, they had old Grant and Evan Dollard. They were the Matt and Akbar equivalent, I'd say, for the UNX. It was fun hearing them banter back and forth.
Yeah, I like their dynamic. How great was it seeing Evan Dollard? I mean, he's another OG for from the earlier
I
seasons.
felt like he was ahead of his time back in the day. Like you see all the way the social media lights have taken over the show. Essentially, he was in. See, he came on the scene seasons 2 through 4,
Yeah,
and kind of stepped away from the sport. So it's good to see him back in the mix of things.
Yeah, I know for a while we were watching videos of him like racing people he would have on, I think, his YouTube channel. We were seeing it.
Yeah, the Ninja Quickies.
Ninja Quickies, that's what it was, yeah. Those were great. Yeah, it is nice seeing him back. He's fantastic. Grant's fantastic. I mean, I can't even imagine who would do a better job, right? Those two guys are fantastic at commentary, very lively, very charismatic. Definitely on par, if not better than Chris and Ethan, right? So I mean, they've got top-notch talent right across the board doing all this. So as we were watching on night 2, so if even with your free membership, you can check out the night 2 Fast Forward. Skip ahead to the 23:30 mark, and you can see them previewing one of the obstacles. They actually get Evan and Grant to try out this new obstacle that Ethan came up with. And what did you think of it, Bijan? What did you think of this obstacle where you're like, oh, I wish I could try that? I know you feel like that sometimes.
Nope. No, thank you. That. I mean, I think you all can imagine. I'm not the biggest fan of transition obstacles where you get like basically a very, very, very small margin for error, and you just have to do it perfectly. Why don't you explain what they had to do? Cause
yeah, I just realized we didn't actually describe the obstacle. You know what? I got to toss it over to Ryan. You can probably describe this way better than I can. How would you describe this obstacle that they had?
Oh man, definitely tricky, especially at the location that it was based on. It was towards the end, so you already got a good pump in your arms. You've got 2 rings similar to the ring toss obstacle. So imagine you're holding in your hands some big old rings, and you have to jump out straight in front of you and around the sides of a free floating trapeze bar that's got like straps in the middle. So essentially you're going on the sides of the trapeze bar with those rings. And if you hit one and miss the other one, the whole thing's going to tip 90 degrees and you're going to slip right off. So you have to hit both rings at the same time. For the first one, build up momentum and then unhook and then rehook onto the second set of trapeze bar that's right in front of you, and then go for a dismount. So it's tricky just even getting onto the obstacle.
Ryan, you're really good at explaining this. You should do this for a living.
Well, that's 12 years in the game for you.
I had a hunch you could do it better than I could, so thank you for that. So he's got to see Evan try it first, and he had never tried it before. It was kind of fresh. I thought it was really entertaining. I like watching the banter between them all. They're kind of, giving each other a hard time, but it's, like encouraging, like, hey, you can do it. And Evan manages to make that first jump, and when he did it, like, I was surprised because it looked so difficult to be able to do it on your first attempt. But he nailed it, but wasn't able to do the second one. And then we saw Grant go, and he had already done it once. So they let us know that he had tried it once, and he did it on his first attempt. And he crashed and burned so hard. Like, kind of give us a good preview of how that could go wrong. So it makes me really want to watch the competition and see how everyone did there.
Yeah, this is going to be like the wall that all the ninjas hit. I do like the fact... for obstacles like this, especially in its placement, where it's in the later half of the course, this could be the thing where everybody like gets all nervous and it's like, oh, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Which can really weed out the crowd. But Ryan, as like a ninja, when it comes to these types of obstacles, are you a big fan of them? Do you get like nervous like right before you're about to do something like this?
Yeah, anytime you've got an extra variable of free floating parts, like you were saying before, if it's a floating monkey bar, anything that you have to remove and replace, that adds just an extra factor that makes it even more challenging, especially when you're later on to the course. You're feeling that adrenaline, that pump. You've made it past a lot of the other obstacles, and you're like, you don't want to mess up at this point. So the nerves are really cranked up at that stage of the game. I thought it was a challenging looking obstacle for sure, especially if it's that be in that crux of the course. It's something you got to be ready for. Trying to think similar obstacles that I've done.
You know what? I was just thinking that too. The closest I can think of, maybe, I mean, it didn't flow the same way, but that style of Ninja Killer. Maybe the City Finals season 8, you would have. I think it was the Stair Hopper. It's like the one that nobody was able to actually.
Yeah, that was the one where it was on you got a free floating bar. You take like a bar that's not on any strings or whatever, and hopping it down to set a track. Yeah, that one was tough. I'm thinking more the one we did in Atlanta this year, the Up for Grabs. That was the one where the salmon or the bar's like magnetized, and you had to like lâcher up to it, yank it off the magnets, and then place it into the cradle.
Oh right, yeah.
That one was crazy. So yeah, a lot of moving parts. That's something that I've noticed the show is getting more complicated with, and we're trying to, different leagues are starting to emulate that, almost to a fault. Some comps are getting a little too creative, like they're trying too hard. But I think this one's well within the skill set of all the competitors that have made it to the majors.
Yeah, I was really impressed. I think it's a great obstacle. I would love to see something like that on the show proper. To see, I hope he submits it to the obstacle design challenge, and maybe we can see it. Are you cursing out that challenge at this point?
That design challenge, it's got some good stuff, but then some of it that gets through, it's like, oh, why would y'all don't understand like momentum or any kind of physics? They're just throwing stuff to the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're not considering our well-being. They're like, oh, this will look cool.
It does seem like injuries have become a little more prevalent in recent seasons, or they're showing them more. I'm not sure which. Do you find like it has gotten a little more dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, there's always that risk going into the show, knowing that it's going to be you're doing an obstacle. It's going to be tough. But yeah, some of the things that they've got where, especially the balance obstacles, where it's like more speed related and you've got to go all out at it. I mean, I've still got scars from that box run in Atlanta. So it's name of the game. You gotta, they do what they can to make sure it's going to be as safe as possible, and medics on site and people there to grab you if need be. So they're doing what they can to mitigate those risks that we got to go through. So, but yeah, there's definitely a lot more, it seems, nowadays, and they are showing it a little bit more.
And Ryan, like, you can probably speak to this. Compared to like the earlier seasons, have these obstacles, in your opinion, seemed taller or higher in the air? Because I was stunned in person how damn high these obstacles were.
In reference to Vegas or just qualifying rounds? Qualifying it.
Both, man.
Both. Qualifying's been pretty standard, I'd say. Because the pits, they can't make super deep. I'd say most of the pits are right around that 5 foot deep mark. So those aren't too high. The Vegas is where all the hotline action's at.
Looks terrifying.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, the stage 2 was crazy high. Especially those grim sweepers. Like when you jump off that trampoline to the first one, you feel like you're jumping away from the pit of water and directly into the crowd. So you gotta get used to it. I think the biggest fall I've taken was in season 7. I fell from the top of the salmon ladder after I transferred over. I was on the very last rung, and I had to go up like maybe one more rung to get to the bar, and I whiffed it, and I fell straight from that. That was a pretty big fall, but you get used to it.
Yeah.
So looking at the results from the competition, the top 3 men are not terribly surprising. We had Daniel Gill, Jake Murray, and Drew Dreschel bring home the top 3 spots. But the competition included, for those that aren't aware, like it is a lot of top ninjas. We had some recognizable names like Caleb Bergstrom, Michael Torres, Najee Richardson, Sean Darling Hammond, and Kyle Soderman there as well. For the women's side, it was actually a little surprising who came out on top here. Kylie Hughes took first place. Elena Borges got second, and Barclay Stockett got third. And their competition included Jesse Graff and Jesse Lebrecq, as well as one of our favorite up-and-comers, Rachel Brown.
Wow.
Those are some big upsets on the female side, on the women's side.
Yeah, they're starting as early as 13 for the league, so it's interesting to see these kids that have been training for years, competing alongside the pros. It's a cool new dynamic they're going with, having a wide.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that wide age range.
Rachel Brown. How old is Rachel Brown now? I mean, I feel like we've been covering her since she's been in diapers, but
we've been covering her for the whole length of this podcast, I think. So what is that, 4 years now?
Yeah, but I mean, super talent. I can't wait to see her actually on ANW one day. Yeah, I mean, the competition is just going to become more and more strong, and we've seen this in NNL and all different types of competitions where there are these names that, we don't necessarily know yet, but just looking at the field, they are very impressive, like beating out some of these some of the top names in the sport, and really makes you want to keep an eye out on them.
Actually, on a related topic, Ryan, did you watch ANW Junior?
The first season, yes. Really, really excited to, see the results of that, and I was hoping to make it out for the taping, but schedule didn't work out either that first season or the second season, so missed seeing it live. Hopefully I'll catch it on season 3.
So if you're looking forward to season 2 or season 3, you must have enjoyed season 1 as much as we did.
Yeah, I had 5 of my old students go from Ninja Quest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was, and 2 of which placed really high. One won the whole thing in his age group. That was Vance Walker.
Oh, nice.
And then you had Tate Allen he got second place in the younger age group, in the middle age group. So some of my older students from back in the day when I was back in Georgia coaching, really proud of those guys. Mm-hmm. They're still killing it in the ninja game.
Did you feel like, the proud dad that was like, oh, those are my old kids?
Yeah, it was cool to watch them, and they were all doing the battle cry at the top of the wall and stuff like that. So
yeah,
nice shout out. It was fun watching it after the fact, but I still wish I could have been there. Hopefully they'll have a season 3, and I'll get to actually go this time.
Mm-hmm. I hope so too. I hope it just keeps coming, because I have never been more shocked by a show than ANW Junior, where it was like, we thought it was going to be one thing, and it turned out to be totally different. It was such a legit show, not just the athleticism of the kids, but their stories, their backgrounds, the editing, everything about it was fantastic.
Yeah, cosign.
What was y'all's take on it? What did you think it was going to be originally?
Oh, well, for me, I'll be real with you. I thought it was going to be just some Nickelodeon, if you really think back, Ryan, to I'd say the mid-earlier seasons of ANW, mm-hmm. where some of these vignettes were just really come on, man, they're milking it a little too hard, the drama.
I got you, yeah.
And yeah, I thought it was gonna be more into that, or just, hey, my name is Johnny and I like to play with, I don't know, dinosaurs or something. I don't know, but I wasn't expecting it to be so. I guess them respecting the children and these athletes so much. They really respected them for their backgrounds and everything that they had.
Yeah, it was really exciting to see them go through those courses as fast and fearless as they were doing those obstacles. So it's definitely exciting to see the progression of the sport. I am a little sad though that they took our Ninja versus Ninja slot. Pretty sure that's that's the breadwinner now in the off season of ANW. So I'm pretty sure the kids are going to rule that that extracurricular ninja activity for the time being. But one day we'll get the Team Ninja style stuff back, I'm sure.
I really hope so. I found it so fun.
Yeah, those are fun times. Well, thanks guys. Appreciate y'all having me on. It's been a blast finally getting to chat with y'all. For any listeners out there that are wanting to follow all my ninja escapades, y'all can follow me on Instagram at Ryan_Strat, or follow me on Twitch if you want to watch me game on my Twitch channel, which is the Stratis Status. So come on by, guys and girls. I appreciate the support. Trying to make a living outside of Ninja, doing what I love. So appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much for joining us, Ryan. Really appreciate having you on. We've been very excited to have you on for a very long time. I'm glad we could finally make it happen, even if it was kind of last minute and a little jump. But still
all
appreciate
good.
You.
All good. We got to adapt and overcome. That's the name of the game in Ninja.
That's right. And if you'd like to follow us, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how would you like to ruin the ending of this show?
Oh, you knew it was coming. So everyone, I want to give the biggest shout out in the world to Ryan Stratis. You're awesome, man. Been watching you forever, but most importantly, you are kick on behind the scenes. Kick butt, actually, I should say. Kick butt behind the scenes and everything else. Really chill dude. Really awesome on ANW, always representing Sasuke, and most importantly, representing Twitch and gamers all around the world. Yeah. Once again, Ryan Stratis, what's the Twitch handle?
The Stratis Status.
The Stratis Status, and guess what? I got the Stratis. That's right. And all Armchair Ninjas, you are going to get the Stratis Status also. Hit him up on Twitch, give him that hug of love, and let's do it, y'all. Video games represent, ANW represent, Sasuke represent. Power!
All right, thank you all so much for listening, and have a wonderful week.
Thanks, guys.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all.